Joining us now, former U.S. Congressman and Agricultural Secretary in the Clinton administration and now candidate in the special election to fill Thad Cochran's U.S. Senate seat, Democrat Mike Espy, who has some supporters in the room here today.
Thank you. Thank you.
So how's the race?
Good planning.
How's the race going?
Well, can I first say hotty toddy?
Oh.
All right.
You guys, I see a picture of Eli Manning on the wall here.
Oh.
You guys do realize that my son, Mike Espy, played for Ole Miss for 4 years before he went to the Washington Redskins.
All right.
My goodness.
He was Eli Manning's perennial wide receiver. He was the,
Yep.
so everywhere I go, he asks me how I'm doing. So I pick my spots, you know, wherever I go in some place in Mississippi, I carry Mike with me. He's very popular, so he's going to add 10% to what.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Race is going well, though?
Race is going well. We're really very, very pleased. People like George Will, right, came and we actually met at a restaurant, wrote a column, and he quoted William Faulkner, and he said that illusions are really just as powerful and just as real as bones or blood. So many people look at Mississippi, you know, a Democrat from Mississippi, African-American from Mississippi, that's an illusion. But George Will, quoted William Faulkner, said illusions are just as real as bones and blood. So we're going to create some bones and blood. We're going to get the vote out. We're going to get enough crossover votes to win on November 6th. And failing that, there's a runoff 3 weeks later. And I've got recent polling by Mark Melman, that shows that we're going to do very, very well on November 6th. But if we don't get that 50% plus one, then we'll move on 3 weeks later, and we show that we're beating the temporary incumbent.
Right. So that's
either way, I'll win.
And that's what's so interesting. And
yes.
One of the reasons we're here in Mississippi, there is a possibility, as tight as the race is for control of the United States Senate, as it looks,
yes.
7, 8 weeks out, that there's a possibility that if it ends up in a dead heat, and then you have a special election
3 weeks later.
3 weeks later, whoever wins Mississippi will control the United States Senate.
Well, that would be interesting. Right now, all I'm doing, I can't speculate on that. We don't know what's going to happen to other races. I'm keeping my head down. We're in the bushes. We're getting every vote that we can. We've got to turn out the African-American vote. This race goes through the African-American community, no doubt about that. But we also have to have enough crossover votes to complement that and win.
Right.
And so we're doing it in every space. Joe, you were in Congress. I was too.
I don't like to talk about it, but go ahead.
No,
Go ahead.
it doesn't.
Think about this. We've been everywhere for the last 5. Cochran didn't resign until March.
Right.
So others have had 2 years, 6 years prepared. We've had 7 months.
Right.
So we're doing very, very well within that 7 months because people remember me. They remember me as a member of the historic 100th Congress with John Lewis, where Jim Wright was the speaker. And the thing that's different, and I hope that, I hope that my race will show, is that things are so dysfunctional and cynical and chaotic, and people are just so tired of the reality show that they remember someone like me who came in as a 30-year-old, never ran a race, and won with a 85% black vote, but 11% white vote in 1986. And in 1992, for re-election, I had 95% black vote and 40% white vote. So when people remember that I did things, I responded to people. It wasn't about race, it was about responsiveness.
Right.
So we did that from 86 to 92.
And as you talk about taking on the Trump agenda, Mr. Secretary, as you know, this state went by almost 20 points for Donald Trump in 2016.
Yes.
So what do you say to Trump supporters who you're hoping to cross over and win their vote? If you're talking about going in and challenging his agenda, they like what he's doing. What do you say to them?
I'm not running against Trump. I'm running for the office of U.S. Senator. And I pretty much tell them that I'm a Democrat. I acknowledge that, and I'll caucus with the Democrats. But I'm an independent, small I independent. I do not care where the idea comes from. It's a good idea, then I'm going to promote it. If it comes from the administration and it's well-meaning and not ill will, then I'm going to support it. But the reverse is also true. And everyone knows that. I do not care about gender, about race, about religion, about party. I care about getting the job done. So wherever the idea originates, and it makes sense, then I'm going to be there. And I've proven that in 1986, 1988, 1990, 1992, and even in the USDA.
So you'd vote with the president if it were a good idea?
If it's a good idea, yeah. You know, not everybody on the side is stupid. Not everybody on the other side has ill will. Not everyone on the other side, everybody has value, but we have value as well. So people remember me from that time,
right?
And so we're doing that.
Eddie.
So folks remember you, but we're looking forward. We have to, you know, there's the past, and then there's the future, and the future is really important because it seems like it's in danger.
Yes.
Now we saw what happened in Alabama with Doug Jones, and we saw the turnout. We know particularly black women specifically leading the charge. What are you specifically doing to get the 38% of black folk who make up the state of Mississippi to come out and support you? Because that's important.
I'm not going to leave the idea of what they remember. It's what they remember, but also what I'm promoting right now.
Yeah.
I was the Secretary of Agriculture, right, which is the mayor of rural America. So every town in Mississippi, it's not every town, but except for 3 or 4, every area is within 30,000 people or fewer. And all of those communities were serviced by USDA. Rural water, rural sewer, rural homes. Now I'm saying rural broadband. They all remember, and they remember what I did then and what we're doing now. But also, I've not run it in 20 years, but Eddie, I'm the chairman of the board of a $200 million nonprofit. And the Wall Street Journal in May 1st just gave us the national award for the most innovative nonprofit in our sphere, which is going into low-income districts in Mississippi, Alabama, Tennessee, Louisiana, and Arkansas, and building the wealth in those low-income communities. We give mortgages up to $110,000. For Mika and Joe, that's a closet. But in Mississippi,
what are you talking about? Wow, you got that populist thing going.
All right.
$110,000 is a pretty good 3,000 square foot home.
That's pretty good. Pretty great.
We go to medically underserved areas where without doctors, we build clinics. We go to service stations. We go to areas with service stations where people make groceries because there's no grocery store, and build green grocery stores. And then lastly, what we do, we're now going into public schools, putting credit unions in public schools, building wealth. And that's what, I'm the chairman of the board of that for the last 14 years.
Right.
Joyce.
By the way, but first, I want to get a shot at Eddie here. I just want everybody to know. We got a cultural exchange program going on here. I'm wearing Ole Miss gear, and my brother brought an Alabama pin for me to wear, and Eddie has slapped it on.
Wow.
Thank you, Eddie.
Wow.
How's it feel?
Thank you, Eddie.
Do you feel the aura of how many national championships we got?
Oh, Lord.
17 national championships, Eddie? Do you feel the greatness?
Oh, Lord.
Okay. Joyce
When
Spence.
Eddie runs for office in the state, they'll use that in an attack ad.
Yeah, they will. They will. Joyce.
So you watched Doug Jones pull off the special election in Alabama. No one expected to see a Democrat win in Alabama.
Yes.
Does that tell you that there's a powerful movement for change down here, or do you believe that that was just a one-off race?
No, I don't think it was a fluke at all. Doug Jones is a friend of mine. We talked to him about his victory, and he talked about issues. In Mississippi, just like Alabama, we have a lot of health issues and health ills. We've got all of these rural hospitals closing because of the lack of Medicaid reimbursements and uncompensated care. So we talk real issues, rural development, promoting health care. We're here at Oxford and Ole Miss. I talk to students that are concerned about their brain drain, their student debt. They just want to graduate without all of this burdening debt and go to Greece and go to Rome and sow your oats, but come back to Mississippi because there are jobs here. So I've talked to Doug Jones, hired his senior consultant, Joe Trippi, hired all of his GeoTV people, know the women out in the rural area, LaTasha Brown, who is, I didn't hire her, she has her own IE and her own all of that, and we're not supposed to talk about that. But the thing is that she knows what to do. Yeah. We don't have to help her. She's with us.
All right.
So by the
Mike
way,
Espy.
he's talking about go to Greece, go to Rome to sow your wild oats and come back to Mississippi. Yeah. Willie and I went to Turkey. Well, ended up in prison for 14 years.
It was a dark chapter.
Mike Espy,
dark chapter.
Dark chapter and more
than about it.
They made a movie about it, but you don't want to get into it.
Next hour, we're going to speak with one of the other candidates in this special election, Republican Chris McDaniel.
Thanks for checking out MSNBC on YouTube, and make sure you subscribe to stay up to date on the day's biggest stories. And you can click on any of the videos around us to watch more from Morning Joe and MSNBC. Thanks so much for watching.